Now that you've created the prototype of the V-fold with the house and the trees and the bushes in front, your task now is to do your own version and to show that you can understand how to create a V-fold. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to recap how to create the beginnings of the V-fold so that you can then add your own design. So we're going to start in exactly the same way as you did with the first prototype. On a piece of A5 card, you're going to measure 1 centimetre up from the base and do a little marker on the edges. Now this, as a reminder, was to create the space for you to do your glue tab. So again, anything like this is going to be a guideline, so you want it fairly light on the page. We also need to find the halfway point. Remember, the V-fold works by the card folding in half to create that V. So this is obviously 21 in length, so you're going to find the halfway marker, do that at the top and again near the bottom, and then match those up again. The last thing we need to add into this is the diagonal lines that went backwards, which created the front and the base of the V-fold. In order for the V-fold to work, the base needed to be at an angle. So, for those of you that can remember, we measured 3 centimetres from the base of the card up, and we did a little marker. You did that on both sides, and then you match those points to the base of this vertical line that comes down that touches the 1 centimetre line. Just not all the way to the bottom, it's just to that point there. And then normally you would add the glue tabs at the end because you know how wide they need to be once you've got your elements drawn. But just as a reminder, because you guys are going to be left to work independently on this and create your own, on the left hand side, if you find the halfway point, so if you were to place your ruler back on the edge, you'll find that the 3 is at the base, 2 is on that 1 centimetre line, and then the 0 is above. We need to find the halfway point, which is 1 centimetre between the diagonal and the line below. Same on the other side, and this time we're going to match that point to the base of the card where it touches the middle line, and all you're doing is drawing the same diagonal lines parallel but 1 centimetre below. And for those of you that can remember, this part here then creates your glue tab. Now the centre of the glue tab needed to be 1 centimetre either side of that middle line. If you do the same at the top, if you match your ruler up, instead of worrying about drawing a line going all the way down, if you just draw a line across the bottom part, because that's all really we need to know that the 1 centimetre section is. So you've just got the line at the 1 centimetre part at the bottom. And then the last thing to help you create your glue tab is from that point you're going to draw a line to where it meets with that point. So again, you can see there that those lines match up with those points there. And then that creates the basis for the V-fold. Once you have got drawn that down on your card, you're ready to now create it into the V-fold to whatever you want it to be. This V-fold needs to show your creativity and your understanding. Don't forget, from the house V-fold we had those layers, so we had the house and the trees, we then had the bridging tabs which then obviously were glued to the bushes. You can have multiple V-folds on your card, so you just stick them within each other. You can have multiple bridging tabs coming off, so I really want to see what you guys can create. The final tip about creating your own V-fold is that whatever you decide to draw on, and it doesn't matter at this stage, it's just you guys having a go, try to make sure that it's quite big and bulky and it takes up a fair amount of space at the bottom. The reason being, if you come too close, especially in this middle part, when you cut the V-fold out, it's going to fall apart and it won't work. So for example, this one here, you can see you have got the glue tabs at the bottom, the tree is in the middle, then I've got a snowman and some presents. Now, if I just did this tree and left it at just the tree, all of a sudden the only part I've got connected to the glue tab is this part of the tree trunk, and that is going to not be enough when the card opens to swing the card up. You need to have a bit of a sort of chunk of the card, of the V-fold there, to enable the card to flip up. So that's why you need to make sure that a good channel of the card above the V-fold is included. So if this was to be cut out, it would go all the way around the snowman, this part of the tree, that part of the presents, and then around. So this is all going to be the big bulk of the V-fold, and it will work. Again, similarly with this one, as another example, we've got the pumpkin, this ghost, and then the witch's hat. Now, with things like these pumpkins, yes, it does have a circular base, but you've got to remember that your V-fold is a straight base. So even if you're wanting to do something circular like this pumpkin, you need to cut it off and keep the base flat. Otherwise, if this was drawn to a circle, it's going to come around into a point here, and the only part that's actually going to be attached to the glue tab is a very small area. So make sure you include a good chunk of the base of the V-fold so that it all sticks to the glue tab. So on this one, when the hat, the pumpkin and the ghost is cut out, we've still got a good chunk of the V-fold there ready to go. So you now need to create your own version. It can be on whatever it wants. It doesn't have to be what you're going to do for your actual card. At this point, it's just you guys having a go at making the V-fold and being able to understand how to create it.